Welcome to the One Lap Heroes podcast, discussing car news from the Nurburgring for real track addicts.
We'd like to apologize for the strange sound up until the 8-minute mark, roughly. It might have had something to do with this beautiful young puppy that we had as a guest and an accident with the main camera. But since everything was recorded, we're gonna let the action unfold and you can decide by yourself. Again, thank you for watching. Today's video is a special one because we have two guests, not one. Like one is here, he's a bit camera shy.
The main guest is here.
Yeah. She's new to this whole thing that we do here. The other one
is there.
He's not that new. He has been doing this for some time.
Yes.
Misha, do you want to introduce yourself to the audience in case they don't know you?
Sure. Hi guys, my name is Misha. I am 31 years old at this point, yes. I've been living at the Nurburgring for the last 6 years, driving, racing, instructing, basically the same what you guys are doing, more or less. And I like cars, I like to share the Nurburgring love with people. And that's, I think, the majority of things. And of course, lots of other gigs and projects on the side. We're working for different car manufacturers, etc. But yeah, I guess cars, Nurburgring, food. Dogs.
Dogs now.
Yeah.
You're branching out. You're branching out.
Yes.
Which actually is not a good thing because we are a kind of dog people. Actually, not me, him. But
Yeah,
we are.
people, of course.
You can see Gab's attention is a little bit lost.
Yeah, sorry.
This is gonna be about cars, correct?
Yeah, apparently. Yeah.
And I think we should start straight with a bit of like car history. In case you guys don't know, Misha runs a very big channel. I would say probably like the fastest growing one like in the area.
Yeah. I think there is. I think auto addiction might be bigger in terms of numbers.
We don't count exactly like.
Yeah.
Is it really?
I think so. I think he's like over 300,000 subscribers. But
Really? Is it that big? I actually didn't know.
Okay, you clearly see that. We do our research. No, but metrics are not. But and I actually mean it like I think for us metrics are absolutely not
Irrelevant.
important.
Yeah.
And probably very few people will go watch this because this is gonna be a long video.
Yes.
And we're gonna talk about like.
we can do timeline topic cuts, right?
I absolutely hate
We
it.
absolutely hate it, but
Apparently
we
it's
do it.
mandatory.
But we do it.
For me, it was a huge pain to understand, like people's attention. I normally, when I speak with someone or I watch something, I watch the whole thing. But the fact that people cannot stay in focus, that's me. You cannot stay in focus for more than a couple of minutes, and you really
Because they have the
separate
same attention span as Pancake.
as a puppy. As a puppy. So, do you want to say a little bit about your car history, like before coming to the ring, a little bit like how you started?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to ask, like, we all
I know a little bit he does.
We all have specific histories and reasons why we are here.
Yes.
It was a mistake.
It was eventually for all of us. It was a mistake. No, but I'm jokes aside. Like, what? Of course, the Nurburgring is like the place to be, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But how did you end up here? How did you know about the place in the first place? Like, was it because of Gran Turismo?
What was the first
or
thing?
What's the story?
It's actually two questions for you.
Yeah, no. To be honest, actually, it's a pretty funny story. If you know what I'm doing right now, I tried 2 years ago to move away from the Nurburgring by going to Croatia to start working for Rimac Automobili. After being almost a year there, I started crying, missing this place. I'm like, no, I want to come back here. So I cannot think of this place without me and me without this place at this point. But I came here 6 years ago by now, and simply because she likes you.
We are terrible.
Yeah.
I think it feels comfortable.
I came here 6 years ago because of a very simple fact. I got a job offer. But before that, I was living in the Netherlands, 2 hours away driving from here. I was already active in the car scene, driving European Time Attack Championship, Dutch Time Attack Championship. Okay. And for many petrol heads, it's their dream to come to the Nurburgring, of course. And for me, it was 2-hour driving, but nothing was appealing to me. I'm like, okay, some old track in the woods.
Like you wouldn't come here to drive, for example.
No.
Okay.
I had all the opportunity, just like hop in the car, drive, and even the cars and the means to do so. But it was just like, okay, it was just not appealing to me. And I only came here because I got a job offer. I'm like, okay, sounds cool, sounds interesting, new company, new cars, new challenge, let's do it.
This was in a rental, effectively in a rental company.
Yes,
yeah?
correct.
We tried to sort of avoid business, but eventually we can come in there.
Yeah.
You had at the time an Impreza, do I remember well?
Correct.
You had a Subaru.
Yes.
So was this like your first kind of love, like coming into cars?
It was my first car because I was working together with Inne from Blackfish Graphics. Back then it was called, like 2 names back, it was called Sticker Dump, and a friend of mine who was also working with us at the time, he had an Impreza and he was selling that. And I did not have a car, but by the time I got already my first funds to afford the car, I was thinking, you know what, I might be just like a student and go with the train, or I can just have some fun, you know. So I decided to buy that Impreza of him. And when I bought it with the brake pads were already finished. So what do? You buy a big brake kit all around already.
Not just while you're at it.
And while you do the suspension. You do the suspension, exactly. So we did the suspension, and the first thing that I did when I got home after buying the car was actually booking the race car driver course to get my racing license. Makes totally sense. So yeah, eventually it all ended up becoming a very fast 705 horsepower Impreza with 864 Nm of torque. Yeah, exactly. And that was my short introduction into the car world, I would say.
But it's an interesting one, because I think for the majority of us, it's sort of like one cool car that does it, you know. And from what I understand, this Impreza for you wasn't like the particular dream car. There's a bit of it happened to you.
Exactly.
And then you naturally sort of want to improve it, you want to tune it, because I think the tuning...
But what was the aspect of did you like driving, or did you like cars, or
I don't know, it's kind of, I think we all at some point when we are young, we get influenced by something. Some people play Gran Turismo, others play Need for Speed, others play with Lego or some model cars. For me, it was a combination of all the games and toys, and growing up in Russia, my dad of course had the Lada, and Lada you spend more time working on it than actually driving it. So I spent many countless hours with my dad in the garage, and getting yelled at for holding the flashlight wrong under the hood while he was working, you know. So I just like cars in general, and at some point I think boys are boys. You like things that are loud and going fast, and if you can modify certain things and be the coolest kid on the block, one thing leads to another. And then you end up racing at some point, and somehow end up at the Nurburgring with a dog.
We are going to talk racing in a bit, because this is filmed a few days before the 24-hour race. Yeah. Both of these guys are actually racing this weekend. We are going to talk about this a little bit later on. I want to still stay a little bit on street cars. Yeah. And more specifically, I want to talk about something controversial. I will not ask you about cool cars, because I know that you have been into some very cool cars lately. Yeah. We all have been, because of work, but especially the last year for you, I think has been extra special. Yeah. Some very cool opportunities. If you want, you should definitely check the channel, his channel, so you actually see which kind of cars I'm talking about. But I want to talk about your current project car, because and I have to be honest, unfortunately, this is a very honest platform. Yeah. So I have to tell you something. We have a thing here, we kind of hate golfs.
Okay.
So, this probably already alienates some of our viewers, because they have to
it's in Germany, and we don't like Volkswagen.
We don't really like golfs, and I would say that our most hated golf is probably a Ford.
Really?
I have to do it. You should not speak. You shouldn't speak for me, because I actually don't have any preference. I hate them all.
You hate them all.
No, for me, the Mark 1 and 2, they are cool because they're classic. Especially Mark 1 is
it's the legendary hot hatch.
7 and 8, I'm kind of cool because we might have a problem with the main camera. And our guest number. No! Pancake, you are a hero. Not one lap hero, probably. This is fucking awesome.
And that's why they told me to get dog insurance.
Pancake, you don't like the set.
Nothing really happened.
Small interruption. I think you understood that I was speaking bad about the golf.
Yes, I think this is what happened.
Pancake, what did you do?
Nothing bad.
Nothing bad. She's being a puppy. A puppy being a puppy. What's the problem?
She should not feel that she did something bad. We still love you, huh? Everything is good.
Potentially even more than before, because this was hilarious.
Actually, I will be a bit sad if the video is not there, if it got lost. Because it was actually priceless, and then they're not gonna believe us that we're actually filming and this happened.
So we were talking before a Pancake.
Before this beautiful interruption. We are actually talking about your golf. And Pancake being a protector. Yes. She said I'm not taking any of this.
This cannot continue. I will not allow this.
Yeah.
So yes, but I was just saying that also the modern golfs, they are very capable as platforms. So I'm also cool with this.
So it's not that I don't like them because they are bad cars. I don't like them because they are good cars. Do you understand?
Do you? I do understand.
I do understand. It's the same why many people on the Nurburgring probably don't like a GT3 RS.
Yeah, it's like
That's actually very good.
I don't like the fact that a car that is so boring can be also so capable. So this I despise. I don't like that. So this is where my dislike.
GT3, so.
So I like GT3s. Yes, I tend to do that.
So I kind of know because I think you sort of explain why you got like Golf in the first place. But for people that they don't know, how you ended up with a Golf 4 diesel project car, because the project car part is also tricky. Like
you can get like a cheap run around, okay,
but the project car. So I want to know a little bit about this, just because I like strange shit.
Yeah, sure. So as mentioned, 2 years ago in 2019, I made the decision to go to Rimac in Croatia, but I still had the agreement with them to come every 2 weeks here to the Nurburgring to still do my things, to film my videos, to enjoy life basically. And to do that, every 2 weeks to drive 1,000 kilometer one way, 1,000 kilometer back, it would make sense to have something like a car that has some sort of sense of fuel economy in it. And our mechanic George has a Golf 4 TDI, and he said, well, that's actually a cool car. I do many laps with it, 300 laps. I did it last season, and then half a year it survives, and great fuel economy. Parts are cheap, just get it. And for me, being as a Russian guy, or in that case living in Croatia, it's kind of a Slav thing to have a Golf 4, and especially diesel Golf 4, because many of our parents or whoever were having those. I'm like, yeah, okay, I just buy it for shits and giggles, you know. I got it and slowly started modifying it until just shit hit the fan, basically.
And like all project cars.
Like all project
car creep.
Because to be honest, I'm not entirely what's happening. So like
he's doing like
treat
big
me
engine
like
and
I don't
stuff.
know anything.
Like big brakes, big suspension, big engine.
Yeah. But pretty much what happened is, I started modifying it with the idea that it would still be a reliable commuter to a certain extent. Yes, I had a hard engine.
And the key word being I started, I think.
Yeah. Exactly.
Come here.
Exactly. I started because later on, which was towards the end of 2020, I quit Rimac to come back here. Okay. And then I thought, well, okay, I already have all the base for a reliable car, means minor modification mods for the engine ready to go on, but already big brake kit, full modified suspension, because those components don't affect the reliability of the car. So I already had them. So the base was already there to do something crazy with it. So I called the engine tuner. I said, like, you know, guys, let's do something more crazy. We'll build a full race engine.
He's doing it with dark side development, that they actually do some quite cool diesel stuff in the UK. Yeah. They have also been here with a couple of their projects. Cool.
And what is what is
also, I'm sorry to say this, but again, people that actually know us in real life, they will not be okay if I don't say this. We also particularly despise diesels, so much so that basically when we sort of had like some set of rules, like what is on lap heroes or what kind of projects we are allowed to do, we actually said no diesels, no front wheel drive cars. Then we broke the front wheel drive car.
We had a multiply and a PT Cruiser.
Exactly. So actually, it's not like we're looking from the pedestal and we say, man, what kind of seatbox is this? No, we understand, but we live like 2-3 kilometers away from each other. We are operating like literally 5 minutes from each other, and we sort of all decide completely separately in our own bubbles to build completely different things. And I find this a little bit fascinating in a cool way. So for example, like when I'm explaining to other people, non-car people, my project, it also makes zero sense to them. So this is why I wanted him to explain why he's doing that. Mm-hmm. Okay.
What would it be eventually? What is the, like, okay, you're building the engine now, right?
The engine is built and it's been installed. It's already finished. It's mapped and dynoed, and it's actually had its first rollout in UK. So it's coming back this or next week.
I don't know if you can...
I can, 300 horsepower and 520 Newton meters.
So it will actually be faster than MX-5. rolling cone. It's gonna be quick. Still, we don't like diesels. Don't look at what's happening here. We're not laughing. This is just a facade.
It's also just out of hand. Thing that got out of hand, and I didn't like. If I could do things over again, I would probably invest my money into something else.
Story of every car project ever.
Tell us about this. I don't think it's a successful project car if when you finish you don't say, I could have bought a Ferrari with this one.
I know.
I should have done this. Yeah. Something completely opposite of all the different cool cars that you have been. I mean, probably for some people the Golf is actually cooler than some of the GT3s or the common stuff. But
this is all the people that never driven a GT3. By the way.
Correct. For sure. But from the actual cool cars, the ones that you get to drive or co-drive like here, What's like your favorite thing? Like, what do you actually like?
You know, it's hard to say. I think every car can be special. It's the way that it's being driven, and it's also most importantly about the driver behind it and the person, and like the whole package is, that gives you that lap of your lifetime that always stays with you. It's not necessarily the most expensive car. Like for example, recently and also previously, I had opportunity to go in some very expensive and fast and capable cars and exclusive cars, but they were not driven on their limit, you know? And at that point, you're like, well, okay, I've been there, but...
Yeah, it's a bit of an underwhelming experience.
Yeah, I'd rather go out with someone, with a guy who, like, I don't know, handicapped or broke and built something with his blood, sweat and tears and was absolutely sending it. And this is something that brings you everlasting memories. But like the top cars, I think one of the first most unique car was of either competition, MC12.
It's a particular
Maserati. That was one with 4,000 RPM. We already got black flagged. So
because of noise.
yes.
I think I was there. I was on the side of the track. It was at the end
2017. It was 2017 Gran Turismo.
Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
Exactly. I remember the car, blue,
Yeah,
blue
the
silver,
one, yeah.
very cool car, and very
loud.
distinctive.
Very
sound,
loud.
Very distinctive sound.
Very loud. Yeah.
But what would you buy? So if tomorrow budget wasn't an issue,
Money no object.
money no object.
Ooh.
And no, this is very important. What do you buy to drive? Not generally. What would
They're
you
not
buy
the
because
F40 to give
No,
it,
no,
or the
no.
250 GTO or whatever.
exactly like what would you actually get to drive?
Good question. I mean, I might sound a bit biased, but I would like the new.
If you say golf, I might be replaced with Pancake.
No. If money is no object, then it would be either a Rimac Nevera that got unveiled today.
He said I might be biased.
That's what I mean. I might be biased, but if money is no object, maybe the new Koenigsegg Gemera, because if you have to drive for all time every day, a 4-seater car. But I don't know how the car drives, so I'm not going to make any judgments based on just simple numbers and everything assumptions. So,
But you like how it looks and you like the technology.
yeah, I like the technology, I like how it looks, how it performs on paper at this point. But whenever I get the question asked if you would have to drive one car only for the rest of your life, it would be probably BMW M3. And if it would, and maybe even the M3 wagon that is coming up. Because you can do everything with it, you can bring your family with it, and you can make it to a track car. While still having some sense of comfort and reliability. So
That's too much common sense for us.
yeah,
It actually, but no. give it the fact that he actually started with two hypercars, so at least there is a bit of a crazy element in there. And also, I believe that this is how a lot of people end up with, for example, like BMW M2. The car is like pretty enough, capable in everything. We have a couple of things that we don't like particularly, but I can understand how for many people, if they have to have like one car, it sort of ticks all the boxes, so it can be completely.
But to me, that defeats the point.
We want to suffer.
My reasoning being that if this is how you buy a car, then you buy a 3 Series diesel. Like, do you understand?
yeah.
Like, because if it has to make sense.
Keep talking like this, and you are gonna end up with a 3 Series diesel. keep going like this.
No, but if
because
it
this is how he ended up with a PT Cruiser outside of here.
No, but
because he got this attitude.
And this is and
the internet doesn't like
I'm
this.
honest, but like this is how I feel about it. Like in a sense that, of course, if I was a multi-millionaire, I would not buy a 3 Series diesel because it would make no difference for me to save the money. So like the benefit of having a more efficient package, so to speak, would be irrelevant to me. So I would buy the coolest cars I can buy just because I can afford them. But like out of a principle, I don't really understand those cars, to be honest.
Okay.
Because it's like, what's the point of an M3? Like, what is really the point of an M3 or an M4? Because they are not a sports car.
I have to tell you something.
Maybe
keep
the
going.
M3 is okay, but the
Golf
the
people
M5,
hate
for
us.
example.
Golf people hate us. BMW guys hate us. I think you're doing very well. They're still gonna be. Maybe 5 people also don't like us.
But the thing is,
because
that
they
why
don't
do
like
you buy an M5? So like, what is the in the real world? Like, since the decision is based because I want to use it in the real world, right? Because otherwise you would buy a sports car, a proper sports car. So you say, okay, I don't buy a sports car, I buy something that I can use every day in the real world. Cool. But what happens in the real world with an M5 that doesn't happen with a 530 diesel?
Well, yeah, sure. 95% of them buy simply for status. To say like I got it and I have it and.
But you wouldn't do this because you're around these
No, of
cars all the
course.
time.
No, this is what I mean. I would buy so I could actually use it for the track and for everyday use. So I can still combine my passion with my hobby and everyday needs to put the dog in the back seat.
Important question.
Yes.
So, no bullshit. Not what we say. Because we do this for a living. So there's a couple of things that you have to say, and you have to say them.
Sure.
But honestly, do you still enjoy every single lap after all these years and all these laps?
Honestly,
do you still...
so this is a very good question, and this goes back to the basics of people saying like, "Oh, you have the best job in the world."
From outside.
Yes, and they say, it comes with a saying: if you make out of your hobby your job, you don't have to work ever again. But this also means that you will not have any hobby anymore, and your hobby becomes your job, and then you start at some point maybe also hating your hobby. So throughout the years, I had to learn to remind myself constantly to enjoy it. So, for example, especially not only it being a job, also having another job of me like instructing or driving people, another job is being a YouTuber. So I need to be always happy on camera. Hey guys, today we're driving this new car, and it's
this is something I wanted to touch base upon later.
So and this is something I have to do, and this is something that many other YouTubers come here and they're always stressed out, like, oh, I need to make a video, I need to make content. I got this car from BMW or McLaren or my own car. I need to do a perfect lap of the Nurburgring. It's stressing. And whenever they come, I always tell them, shut up, give me your camera, throw it away. We're going out now for a lap and just enjoy ourselves. And they do it, and like, oh my God, this is the best thing that has ever happened to me, because I'm not stressing out of having to perform. I'm just enjoying myself, and I've forgotten how to do it. And this is something that I do have to remind myself. So no, of course, there are quite often laps that I either not enjoy because for whatever reason, whether because maybe I'm instructing someone who is just thinking like, oh my God, will I get back home safely, do this little fluff later on after this lap? And after that, I just need to go out and do a lap for myself, to enjoy it. So, of course, there are ups and downs, but if you're only going to be focusing on the downs, yeah.
But no, for you, then, because as you said it, I find there are some parallels. For example, the Nurburgring,
Yes.
The Nordschleife is the mecca of car enthusiasts or whatever. But when you leave it every day, it sort of inevitably it sort of loses some of its romantic side. Like becomes, especially when you do it every day, day in, day out. It becomes, as you say, it becomes so much of a job that you actively have to remind yourself.
And becomes exactly.
What we do is still special. I think
you do have to remind yourself, and it's also like it comes to such an extent that even maybe you guys have struggled with this the same. What I see in our case, like when we're at Apex at our company, and we are surrounded not only by our own cars but other cars, and so great cars. Something that people are constantly asking to see. Post a picture of GT3 RS. Post a picture of McLaren. Want to see it because we never see it, and we're like,
piece of junk. This piece of junk.
And we're like, we're sitting there, we have nothing to post about because it's always the same. But this is what people want to see. Yeah, and they would. You probably guys also here get tons of messages.
First world problems to the nth degree.
But I have to tell you something. At the end of the day, and this is why these videos are longer, so we can actually discuss things that probably like a traditional audience will not hear. I think this is quite important. The people creating content here, they're also people, so they have bad days, okay? And it's quite clear that if you want to stay in this line of job, you should not put your bad days out there. I think maybe it creates a bit of drama, but generally it doesn't work. People want to see happy people enjoying things. And also, we go through ups and downs. So I can say for sure, first, there are times that we hate this place. There are, and I don't say it lightly. It has been also for us like a dream to come here. But there are times that you hate how everything works here, and you say.
I think since we touched on this topic, I want to say, how do you guys feel about last year? Because for us, Corona has done actually a good thing because we could take time for ourselves.
So for me, I would say that. It was actually a cool year because I got to drive a little bit and finish a few things. So as you said, the extra time. But at the same time, I would tell you that having the place without people.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
Kills a little bit of
course.
Although I at the same time, this is why we are also people. When it's completely packed, I also don't
like it.
So for us, like weekends. Although we are very happy and business-wise it works, and even content-wise it probably works even better. I think when the track is like how it was like last weekend, I don't enjoy going out to drive. I'm sorry to say it. I believe that for
sure.
almost all of us.
Yeah, of course.
But still, for many people, it's the only opportunity to get out and drive. So come, enjoy these weekends. But if you really, really like the track, I would say stay for an extra day and drive a Monday or a Tuesday.
Yeah.
I think this is what we do.
To me personally, last year it wasn't such a big problem, in the sense that for my own life, I think the biggest issue was that
Racing.
there being so many rules and limitations. It actually created more obstacles to do my job. But beside this, even I find maybe I say something that is a bit unpopular, like
This is the episode. Keep going.
no, it's like you see, like for example, you go on social media.
You understand why people don't like it.
And you see so for example, there were no spectators allowed to racetracks, yeah?
I was sure that you would go there.
And of course, the whole mood is different, yeah?
I didn't watch the 24 hours last year because I just didn't.
Same here.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be here.
Yeah.
So the mood is definitely different, but for the people that are actually
For the
there
driver
working,
Yeah.
it was a plus, because you can park close to the track and you can. No, I'm not joking. Look, man,
Always
Guys,
finding
I'm
the
really
positive in the
sorry. I'm really
negative.
sorry for this.
this is you can twist it like
Pancake,
that, you
you're
know.
lucky
Misha.
that you don't understand.
No, it's like you can see the positive. Like the positive was that it was much easier. Like the hotels were
This
like.
is not an official One Lap Heroes line.
No, but I'm just saying that for everything that is negative, there is also a side. So, and this also connects to. It's the same thing. It's like an Hollywood actor that gets stopped on the road every other 5 minutes. He probably had this best time of his life during COVID, with people not going out of their houses, and said, "Oh, now I can go for a jog." And
I can go get Burger King.
and nobody's gonna stop me
We are getting
50
very
fucking times. And I'm not saying that I wish it would stay the same, but it certainly had, of course it had negatives, but
Listen, I will defend him a little bit because I think the comment section is gonna go like.
I'm not wishing.
No, I would say
to
that
come.
for me, like I watched my first 24-hour race like completely as a spectator. Like I walked in the track, I had drinks, I was out. I absolutely loved it. It happened to be one that the weather was actually good. Crazy, and it was a fantastic thing. Like it's the first time that you see all the camping around the track, and it's actually I will tell you that probably what's happening around the track.
It's
For me,
cooler.
it was more impressive than the actual racing, because by that time I have watched VLN. You know a little bit.
Yeah.
You know the teams, the cars. So for
The
us,
24 hours is a bit of an extreme example to this, because of course here the.
But
the
no, I
people
would
are
understand
a
that
big
for
part
the
of-
drivers, like I actually believe that some of the drivers are gonna say on camera without the people is not the same, and for them doing their job, it actually makes zero difference. Zero difference. So I would say, like, as you can see, probably positive. Whatever happened last year, I think. It's
Yeah,
kind
I mean,
of bad.
I think it was a good opportunity to rethink a little bit, maybe the priorities, for some I think it was a good chance to explore new avenues, and this is never a bad idea. Like,
And I think this actually is a great thing to take out of this whole thing. It was a good opportunity to think what you are doing. So I think a lot of people actually thought a little bit, what are we doing for a job?
Yeah.
Is this what we really want to do? Do we really need something that takes so much out of our free time? How we would like to spend our free time? How do you find the life here? Since we're talking about personal space and this and taking time for yourself.
may I add something?
Of course.
Yeah.
Especially considering how much you are working.
Man, actually, yes. No, actually, no question. We should.
So like,
we
I'm
should also
not
be-
trying to. I'm genuine. Like when we do a video, we do videos as well.
Yeah.
We understand.
Do we?
We understand the amount of work
Yeah.
that is required for one, and we do a fraction of the quantity that you do.
Yeah. I do a
So,
video every day.
Am I?
Video, editing,
How
editing.
do you
not even
fucking
shooting
do
it.
that? Like honestly.
Not even shooting it, because I guarantee you that shooting something every day, or as you explained, like you start shooting today, this morning, and then suddenly you look at your footage and it's destroyed because of the girl. But editing one video every day,
But even like honestly, but the whole process.
uploading a video every day.
Uploading a video every day, like
The-
doing it, shooting it, editing, even getting the idea to make a video, because fucking hell, there must
Yeah.
be the day you say,
I hate you all.
No,
And
but
the
it must
cars,
be the race.
and
And
everything.
what do I have to shoot today? What can I shoot today? Fucking nothing. Be like, okay,
And the most weirdest ideas work the best.
yeah. And then you
You
go
know?
to the
That
bakery.
is a little bit painful.
Then you go to the
That is a
bakery
bit
and get bread, and it's the best video. And then you did like a McLaren Senna, and nobody cared.
Exactly.
But it is insane. But how do you do it?
You have an idea
Yeah.
of something that is fantastic. You put a lot of work, maybe behind the scenes. People might think that everything is simple, but you to plan that, ton of work. No one cares. You do a stupid video the other day about something that you consider like, fuck, I don't even know why I put it there, and people absolutely love it. So how does this whole thing
Where do I start? Of course.
go?
Whatever you want. That's the point.
Get it out of your chest.
Get it out of the system. No, when the track is open, I think I'm quite blessed with the type of the most simple the content, the better it works with people. Because if it becomes too complicated, too much details, then you narrow down your target audience, because then it becomes a niche that people want to see it. And of course, it has benefits, because then you know your audience is educated. But if you want high numbers, you want to keep it simple. Just simple crash videos. If you something that I don't do, obviously, but if you want to go...
You know,
This is what people
ideally
want to
boobs and farts, like
Exactly.
as basic as it can get.
Exactly, but this is why the American comedy works.
Yes.
That type of
Yeah,
American comedy.
exactly. So sometimes it is indeed, to a certain extent, it could be sometimes frustrating when you have like such a great idea, you put so much thought into it, and you shoot all the B-roll and the music, and you pay for licenses, and you could create such a great video, and you have 100 people saying like, yeah, this is the best thing I ever saw, and then only 5,000 people watch it, which it can still be a good amount of views, it depends in relation, and then you make some just like a random onboard video, or not even onboard. I have a couple of best examples. So 2019, I went to SEMA Motor Show with Bilstein. So they invited me to SEMA Motor Show and to do a cross-desert trip with off-road vehicles, testing their off-road suspension. We were jumping through the desert, like doing the most crazy
Like
stuff.
epic stuff.
Like epic stuff. Most epic stuff. It got in like 7,000, 8,000 views per video, because they're like, this is not Nurburgring, we don't care. I come back, it was November, it started snowing, it was freezing, it was literally, the track was closed for ice. So I'm like, oh guys, hey, the track is closed, let's go trackside. Oh look, we have frozen puddle. I break literally ice with my foot, it gets 60,000 views within a day.
You out there.
I'm like, why? How?
But doesn't this?
No, he loves it.
No. I'm sorry. No, of course it's obvious to like looking at him talking that he frustrates.
You live doing this, but there is no way you can understand it. Also, like, I know guys who work for Red Bull, for Monster Energy, and like the top marketeers, and you talk to them like, guys, what is the recipe for the viral video? And they say, we don't know.
Industry secret. No one knows how anything works in modern internet. Exactly. Like whoever tells you, I know. I will tell you something funny. I think you will appreciate it. Yeah. We have very recently someone come here telling us that like we are doing everything wrong, and he can actually help.
Yeah.
And we asked him, okay, cool. He was actually not completely out of the industry, so he was an educated person, and we said, okay, cool. So explain us to us a little bit. He said, like, I have this car, fancy car, and I go out and I do on board, and I have this million views in this video. And you guys, you do this video that you put a lot of work, and you are working for days, and you get a spa for yourself, and you do this, and it does only a couple of thousand of views. So you clearly don't know how to do it. And we said, okay. We see you, we hear you. Yeah. Do you know how to do it? So can you repeat this?
Yeah.
And he says, like, no, but maybe. I think in our age, it's sometimes a little bit easy to forget that metrics are not important. We are all quite privileged to do like our normal job is already a very cool thing. And I think making a living, creating content, it's also a privilege. I think you sort of said it, implied it. It is. When you have like even 100 people watching what you're doing, it's still a privilege. There are kids out there creating content. They share it with 50 people and they try for years.
Of course.
We found this particularly interesting. Like I think we hate the term like content creators. Like we actually,
influencers.
This we hate even more. But at the same time,
influencer is even more of a negative.
It's even funnier. Yeah. I think. I think Pancake could be an influencer.
Talent.
But the example that you said before about going into the desert and see that it doesn't work, like this is a genuine question that we face on a regular, and says okay, we buy this car and we do this and we go on track and we do this and we edit this video and we spend so much time. And then, you know, we literally take the phone, do a video with the phone, and it works better. And I said, this is a question that I ask you personally. Do you think there is a benefit into simply say, okay, fuck, you guys don't understand anything, so you're gonna get what you want? I'm asking you openly. Like, have you ever been to the point where that you were like going to bed and say, okay, I've worked on videos like hours and hours and hours, and then they went crazy for something that took me 10 minutes to do. Yeah. So why should I keep doing stuff that takes hours when I can probably do 20, 50 videos that take 10 minutes that work?
Yeah.
So like, where do you, how important is how proud you are of what you put out compared to how good it works? Like, this is eventually the idea.
I think you need to find a perfect balance for yourself. In my personal, if you ask it me personally, I'm in a fortunate position to say that I am actually not spending a lot of time on my videos. I mean, of course, daily vlogs I film throughout the day, and I usually shoot between, I would say, 20 to 40 minutes of material on a daily basis, and then I cut it down to like 15, and then it works quite easy. When it concerns an onboard video, it's quite simple. You start it, you cut, done. You just need to be talkative throughout the video, or the car needs to be a bit good, and when you're lucky, you have the different car with the owner, and the owner is good on camera. Then it's like the best out of both worlds. And I think when you keep it simple without adding too much of a B-roll and music, for people it becomes more personal, and this is one they
get more honest.
They like it, and this is actually what I faced back in 2018. I actually hired an editor, and I wanted to go up in production value, make better content. But yeah, exactly. So better equipment, have also B-roll, etc., etc., etc. We made a dozen of videos, maybe more, and all the comments that were underneath, "This is not you. If we want to watch this, we go somewhere else." So we want to see you. We want to see you filming through your mobile phone, that it's actually this close, that it's not being planned, it's really live happening, and you need to do it. So I'm like, well, that's best case scenario.
Yeah.
You know?
Win-win.
Exactly, this is win-win.
So the guy doesn't have to work 10 hours.
Exactly. So in my case, it's very simple. I'm very fortunate that people enjoy simple content, and I enjoy making simple content. Now, however, on the other side, I've been also working for other media companies or car manufacturers where I was
done this thing with Audi, that was
exactly Audi with Rimac, since I was the head of digital content, so I was responsible for whole digital content within the company, so producing and making sure that the team is running, etc. So I enjoyed making these type of videos a lot. That would be like actual for car manufacturer, cool stuff, you know. And I would be like the one creating, but I didn't have to worry about.
I would worry if it works or not.
I hope people could understand how much time goes behind the content that sometimes they enjoy freely.
Absolutely. And the funny thing is that shooting a video and editing a video and coming up with a video is actually the least of worries, because if thinking of a right thumbnail and a title, it's more important.
100%.
Especially with, it could be anything.
100%. Can I ask you something? Just a small tangent, since you mentioned it. I think we didn't discuss this, but I personally think that Mate is a brilliant guy. What he did there, like a Rimac or Rimac, which is the correct way to say it. I think, starting from zero. The guy started with a BMW 30 drift car. I remember the articles when I was younger, and he basically put a big electric motor in his E30 project car, and from this to a huge tech company doing all these fucking cool things. How it was being inside there? Because for sure it's cool looking it from outside, but meeting the people and
actually, you know how it is. When you are inside, probably it was less cool than it looks from outside.
I would still believe that it was as good.
Actually not. I'm still actually in contact with them on daily basis, with many team members and also with Mate himself, because it is actually, as it looks from the outside, it is like a one big family, and everyone knows him, like all the 1,000 people. He says to everyone all the time, like, hey guys, if you want to say something, tell it to me in my face. And he's actually also working on the employee ownership program, where all the employees, including the cleaning ladies, will get shares of the company.
Okay.
And this is something that he really takes pride in. He's not saying it's not me, it's all of us.
We do.
And it is one big family. And this is why it was very difficult for me to leave, and this is why I'm still not really left. I'm still talking with them. We sometimes exchange ideas and thoughts and how to do things. So it was definitely a dream job. And this is also how I realized why I love the Nurburgring. If I can say no to a dream job like that because I miss this place more, then it was quite hard. But I told them like, hey, if you're gonna, they told me like, maybe we're gonna open up an R&D center at the Nurburgring one day, then So,
if they keep doing the right thing, they might actually be. It is very cool, the growth of the company, and for me also he's one of the people, like how we like Christian Koenigsegg, you mentioned before, how we like Pagani.
Me a lot.
Exactly, and especially like I think this is also like Pagani is like completely the young guy from the old school that now is of course old, and then Mate and Christian are more like exactly the new school, and they are more like tech people, which actually I think it's a very good thing. So they are also a little bit more open-minded people, and I think it's fantastic what they are doing. So like seeing this grow, even their content. For example, I don't actually watch a lot of stuff online. I do because of work, but I don't really enjoy stuff. But like they do Mondays with Mate, so they do this thing, and he's actually there talking the thing. He knows the cars. It's clear that he's developing his thing.
I like to take the credit for Mondays with Mate.
I didn't know. I give you the credit publicly.
That idea got me the job pretty much.
It is fucking cool. I tell you, and I like that it's a mix of well-produced content, and I like how he's quite open. And for me, the most important thing is, I'm sorry to say this, the majority of stuff online is fucking fake. And not in a bad way. It's actually
most of it has to be.
Misha explained very well why many of the stuff online is fake.
Because
and actually, I think we as professionals, we also create some of that fake stuff because we have to. And for me, it's very refreshing when I see something. I say, "Cool, this is absolutely honest stuff."
The best part of what he did was, I think, 2 or 3 weeks ago when he published this drag acceleration video that he filmed also with his mobile phone. It's like, here we are, and this is what we do. And here's some drag.
So prove that I actually watch it. I do like it. Cool stuff. So I think we covered a little bit cars, and it's time to discuss the painful thing. I think we finished with dogs.
What is the painful thing?
Racing. Racing, because
I have a question that will not go to the podcast. As a preface, I want to be clear with the viewers, if this eventually goes, is that I don't mean it in a bad way. I respect every single participant. I respect everything that is happening. But the question that I have for you is it genuinely fun to be in the race with the Dacia? Like it's a genuine question because I am on track with you. I see the car running, and every time I pass him, I don't think why is he? I'm not frustrated. I'm not frustrated with the car. Like I don't mind it. Like, but I feel like I pass him and every time I pass him, I say, there is no way this guy is enjoying himself. No way, because you understand what I'm saying? Because it's so much off the pace of the rest that is happening.
No,
that you
absolutely.
have to just survive.
Absolutely, and no, this is like, I mean, fun is something that is very subjective and hard to describe. I mean, of course, I would prefer to drive a faster car, and I do have the means to drive the faster car if I wanted to. It's just I got this opportunity thrown at me, which was ridiculously cheap to drive the 24-hour race at the price of almost 2 RCN races, and I'm like, well, yeah, like, why not? And also in such a car that gets a lot of media attention.
Because, of course.
Because, like, I'll be honest, this is for me beneficial to a certain extent.
I guarantee you that this is going to have more
impact than driving a GT4
especially if you're mid-pack. Of course, you were in a GT3 car also, that's good. But I think if you were mid-pack in a cool car...
No, even if you were driving a GT4 or a Cup car, nobody would care.
Exactly. So this contributed definitely to a reason to say, yes, I want to do it.
But as a driver, when you are in it... I have to ask.
No, it's actually it's not even about
because you can actually tell me, look, yes, it's fun because even it's slow, but I'm at the limit.
I'm not gonna say that it's whoa, it is amazing, like it is great. It's just basically just driving TF for me,
Okay.
It's not that I dislike it because I'm just cruising.
Okay.
And also just like TF with a slow car, I'm looking more in my rearview mirror.
You're not at your capacity, at the limit of what you...
It's not that like after a stint I get on like, fuck yeah,
Okay,
that
okay,
was
okay,
good. Like, no, of course not. But it's not something like, oh fuck, I wish I would be doing something else
No. I
instead,
didn't mean
you
it
know?
like this.
Can I add an interesting twist here? So since this is like an open discussion, assuming that this ends up in the video, I will tell you this. I don't disagree with Gab. I think he put it a bit like harsh, but I understand 100% what he means. I will tell you something funny, and this has to do in the end. I'm sorry, but it has to do in the end with the audience because he actually did a couple of cooler cars. So he did the M235 i Cup, which actually is a cooler car, and he was actually not slow. And no one gave a fuck.
No, exactly.
And I believe that you felt this frustration a little bit.
That's the thing. That's the thing, because like when I was driving 2019, I did the first 3 RCN races, P1, P1, P1. Then fourth race I crashed. Then the fifth race I think was also P1, and then was crash again or something. And then so we were leading in championship basically. I was fast. And
no one cared.
But this is true. Like, okay, well, you have like 20, 30, 40, 80, 100,000 views, and people say, oh yeah, great job, or even more people gonna say, haha, you crashed, you suck.
Actually,
you know?
Actually, more people.
You know for a fact that you post a video where you crash and it tenfold the people.
Exactly. So everyone forgets then all the wins that you had previously. You crash one car and then all the previous.
Racing, you're always as good as the last weekend.
Exactly. So nobody cares. So and also now, majority of people like current audience, old audience, let alone new audience, they don't know that what I've been racing in the past. Even nowadays, like when people, I think when I did the Bugatti ride last week, people say there was like an article posted by some website, like a YouTuber got a ride along with a YouTuber. And then there were lots of comments, it's not just a YouTuber, he also knows how to drive and he knows about cars. Like, well, I don't care. I don't call myself paid driver like some people do, you know? No.
Some say discount is worth.
No, I watched one of your previous videos and I loved the call out. That was amazing. I knew exactly what you were talking about.
Listen, there are more than a few clowns out there. We really have it.
Yeah, so again, yes, people don't, what you do today, people will not remember tomorrow, probably, and definitely not what you did yesterday. So in that regard, yes, 240 was a faster car, was more fun car to drive, because you have good pace and you can catch some.
Also because you have racing with other people, because this is also a factor that you are alone, effectively, yeah?
You have 4 cars in our class currently now. We have the Manta, the famous Manta in our class.
Is it racing this year?
Yes, apparently. I saw it in our class. Then we have one Toyota GT86 because it's a 2 liters SP class, and then actually Toyota Corolla something from Gazoo Racing Thailand.
Yeah.
So there are 4 cars. So we only need one DNF, and then we'll have podium.
At least
you can win P3.
Stop.
But this is something what I got lots of praise after my qualification race, because I made a post that said we won the 24-hour race in class. We were the only ones in class, you know.
You know how many.
Yes, and this is what like people like Lars Kerr and Mara Engel, they came to me like, dude, this is so great, because whenever we see people say like we won the race, like.
We all know this guy that he goes and he races this Aston Martin, so he can actually be alone in a class with actually 2 cars and they are all their cars. No, it's okay. Also, if you do this, and again, it comes back to this circle of what is actually fake out there and what is real. If you know what you're doing, and you know why you're doing it, it's perfectly fine. The guy racing the Aston Martin solo, or the guy in the Logan or the Sirocco or whatever, there has been slow cars before entered.
No, I was genuinely curious. I don't know if I don't want this. Maybe it came out. I wasn't being dismissive. I was genuinely curious.
No, I understand. And like I said, no, of course, I would prefer to be in a faster car. But I don't dislike it to be, because I generally have fun, and sometimes I like also facepalm myself when some things happen, because at the end of the day, this is no one is pretending to be more professional than they are. They say like, hey, we're just a group of friends.
Hobby.
We were a garage and we decided why not, and here we are. Like, oh fuck, what do we do now?
Which, to some extent, this is what I would like to do. So, like, my question was genuine because I had an agenda. So, like, my agenda being, like, how can I enter a car with my friends and have fun? That is completely off the pace. That it completely doesn't belong, but I could still have fun. I have fun because I'm enjoying the other side of the activity, which is to be there with my mates and have fun.
But
This is also why we get lots of praise from like organizers and marshals. They say like this is what
They love it.
20 years ago
In theory, this is what
N24
it should be.
was about. People would come with their own private car or like more or less similar to a street car, another GT3 car, and win. Like,
But I would say that also we sort of say this a little bit, like we have fast MX-5s, but people still know the Ring Banana, and more people actually might remember the Multipla, or your new car.
But this is you can.
That's the actual cool things that we've done, and it's a bit painful, especially when you put a lot of budget and you take a lot of risk. I believe that something that people don't realize also is that every time you put your driving out there, okay, you sort of put yourself out there for people to also judge it. And of course, people are gonna be keen to point what you do wrong.
Yeah.
And sometimes I would even tell you that it's not you that you say, I'm fantastic, I rule. It's also, you put this out there, people perceive it in one way, okay? And I think also this how here we split all in our sort of small sects and we separate ourselves. Well, when we sit in a discussion like this, I think we have more in common than in different. But you put your content out there, people perceive you one way. So people say, how do I know about the Nurburgring? I watch the vlogs from Misha. I see him drive different cars. I decide that he's the best driver in the world. He didn't say it per se. He didn't say it per se. He didn't even present it.
no, exactly. How often people comment like, you should give Misha that car to do a lap record. I'm like, fuck, I'm like half a minute off pace of a professional driver. So but this is indeed what people have.
And you never even went out there and pretend that you were as fast.
Exactly.
But people sort of made you.
But this is what I was trying to say. And also sometimes, for example, we would get this comment, take Misha for a lap. And people think that because maybe we don't interact, that we have like a beef ongoing.
No.
We have a beef. This is how YouTube channels go. We have a beef.
We have a big beef.
I'm joking.
I have a beef with Pancake.
No, I think we actually love here.
Yeah.
See, I'll tell you something. Between buying a GT3 RS and getting the Pancake, that channel is gonna grow like 20-fold. I don't say that he did it for this, but I guarantee you. If you had like budget and you say I want to do this and I want to do that, I guarantee you.
I would say this is a lot more pain in the ass, but it's also a lot more rewarding.
I would agree.
So you've been here 6 years, right? More or less.
Pretty much, yes.
So
2015 was my first year.
Everything has changed quite a lot since 6 years ago. Of course, how do you feel about it? Because I can understand that you are involved directly with the Nurburgring, so of course for you it's everything is working, it's fine. But I don't know. I cannot help myself but feel like it was better 6 years ago, don't you think?
To what extent?
It was more unregulated. I never minded. For example, I understand the idea, so I understand why there is not allowed to post video of crashes and.
This is probably the only thing that we all
The thing
agree.
is that I understand that the society has to go as slow as the slowest of us. So this is eventually bottom line what's happening. Of course, I'm not the problem, but since there is people that are doing something that is a problem, then it has to stop for everyone. And the concept, it is in my head completely clear, but I can't help but feel a little bit disappointed that we came to this point. That is so, although it is still unregulated for 2021, this is still Wild West. Wild West, because wherever this is, and this is something that we have been saying for a long time. Even to people that were coming here, I said, come here as soon as you can, because this can end tomorrow.
Exactly. It can end any day, and I think this is just a very small sacrifice to pay in that regard. If we need to
keep it alive,
and to keep it alive, and just to be ourselves, to try to be an example and lead by an example. And if we just not do too crazy things, but do it off the track, maybe, or it can
off camera,
or off camera and talk about it,
and
people know it, then I think it is an okay thing. Because on the other hand, look how many good positive things happened to the Nurburgring, especially since 2014 got sold to Viktor Charoudin, and all the people started yelling "Save the ring" because the Russian is going to make it his private playground. But look what immediately
happened.
But look what
that's the least amount of things.
Exactly, but look what happened immediately afterwards. Before that, VLAN was having 1-year contract with the Nurburgring, and then after that, when they saw that there was more of security, they had a 3-year contract. He started getting all the festivals. Where we had the EDM festival, the New Horizons, all the Schlager festivals. Actually use
people. Do you remember people being together?
Yeah. Eventually using this facility after they've built it for nobody.
Exactly, and this is what for us again, we're having lots of fun, but we also have to function as a business.
For sure.
It attracts people, visitors. It makes the place known. We had Formula One last year, even though it was maybe like a last resort for Formula One because they couldn't go anywhere else. But the
still,
place is coming alive, and I think if we just have to sacrifice one thing to gain 10 other things.
So you are happy with the way it's going?
Is there a lot of sacrifice for you, like personally? Is there like, or at this level, they don't really bother you? You know,
No,
roughly what you do?
it doesn't matter to me. I mean, what do I sacrifice? Lap timing in TF? But honestly, what would be for me a sacrifice? Like, I haven't had to give up much other than like, okay, maybe I cannot be vocal about taking people out on the ride because someone might complain I'm doing taxi rides, you know? There is always something, but I cannot think of like an actual thing that I had to not do.
Not stop doing.
Stop doing because this is would be perceived bad by the Nurburgring. I might be like banned from doing my certain activities. Posting crash videos, I was never doing it in the first place.
No, of course.
You know, so there's like me personally, I'm not affected by it. I can understand how other people might feel about it, but for me personally, I cannot think of an example what made my life more difficult than it was before.
To be honest, neither did my life get any difficult. But to me, it's more like a principle. Do you understand?
Actually, we don't like rules. Like, I mean, I will not like. We don't like rules. Like,
in
like
general, we are
like
against
one of the reasons that
regulations.
we are into cars, and one of the reasons why this is not like a channel. You know,
Of course, Italian, Greek, and Russian.
we don't like rules. No, but I also understand what he means. I believe that there is like these plates needs the traffic and the people in order for the business to operate, in order for us to have something to make a living out, so we can actually be here. The moment people are coming here, our niche activity is not anymore that niche. And a lot of the people that come here, they come with different outcome. Actually, lap timing in TF, for example, something that you mentioned, I don't think it was ever a problem because the actual people that were experienced, they were not even timing themselves in TF. It's actually the opposite. It's like the one lap heroes, the bad ones, not the good ones. I mean, that they come from Greece, you know, or from Spain, or from Lithuania, or from the UK, wherever, and they come like in one weekend, and they have to prove everything, and they go out with a lap timer, which is actually something that we felt for years. We tried to preach to people the opposite. I would tell you that we even made the channel originally because our biggest problem is that people here take themselves too seriously.
Way too serious. Yeah.
Way too seriously. And you probably will not remember this, but you were at Ring Garage. You have dropped like your first couple of Boosted Boris videos. I was picking a car, dropping a car, and I told you, keep doing your thing. Ignore what the people are saying. Keep doing your thing, but your thing. I don't even know if you remember even the interaction. I do believe that
when you came with bananas.
Yeah. I do believe that people should do what they want to do.
What they want to do, exactly.
And as long as they do it for themselves, everything is fine. Even lap timing, you know, like if you come in a track day and you do it for yourself and you don't do it for the internet, everything cool. Yeah. You want to race the car, you want to put it on a barrier. I mean, I don't want it, so you don't get hit. But
true.
Go
it reminds me of a story that a guy told me once. He said, I went to Moscow on Lim 500 Plus, this crazy drag racing event, and I ended up with a guy who had a 1,000 horsepower RS6, and we were driving, started talking about life, and he said, you know, I lead my life as my driving instructor told me once. He said, he was teaching me how to drive, and he said, listen, you're gonna pass your driver exam, I know for sure, and I see that you're a fast driver or you want to be driving. You can do whatever the fuck you want on the road as long as you don't bother other people and lead your life like that as well. You can do drugs, you can do alcohol, but as long as other people start suffering, then there is a problem, you know? This is like a very big extreme, but I think...
Yeah, no, of course it is, but it's an example.
I agree plenty.
Yeah.
We actually live by that. I want to have the least amount of rules
exactly.
possible.
Like I don't care what you do in your free time as long as you're not bothering anyone.
But I think this becomes like a civic and ethic discussion. So it's a bit because I would trust because I am also a victim of my own confirmation bias.
Yeah.
So I think I would be able to live within those ethical boundaries. Of course, I can guarantee you that for my neighbor, I would cross them regularly. So, and I understand that there has to be a subset of rules to prevent me from regularly bothering my neighbor. But
But what does stop
You
you
are
from
following
moving
it.
from your neighbor?
No, nothing is stopping me. So like, if I really don't like it, I can always leave.
go somewhere
So
else.
this is
I think that's actually it's a good. This is a metaphor, by the way.
this is a metaphor
for
for
you.
life. This is a metaphor for life.
No, it's actually it's a good one. Okay.
We're still talking about racing.
no, never. But
Definitely,
this is
we never talk
I
about
would
one
tell-
thing.
I would-
He said, keep the videos easy for the widest audience. We do exactly the opposite. So like, you have to have a degree to be able to
Understand
follow.
what we're
Exactly.
and speak all these accents and languages and trying to understand the English. But I hope, as far as accents go, this was a good day for you because we brought them all, huh?
Absolutely. But everything is clear. Everything is crystal clear.
I think we discussed a little bit of everything. I think we should finish it with dogs. No? How this happened?
How this happened? I don't know.
I mean, with all the social life that you get at the Nurburgring anyway, did you really need a dog?
He might get game. What is your problem? You
He
cannot
might
get
be
game,
the
but
one. He might be the only one actually doing something. I don't know.
he might get game. Do you?
Do you?
Can this go into?
yeah, sure.
Okay, so we have this question. We moved here for the girls, me and Gab.
Of course. The
It
nightlife
didn't,
and
work,
the
it didn't
girls.
work out. It didn't work out for
Yeah,
us.
because only guys like you with all your fancy cars.
And we are not part. If it's your thing, we are cool. But it's not really our thing. So life here.
Of course.
Does being at least a big YouTuber helps? Do you feel like a big YouTuber?
No,
Okay. So, but does it help?
no, because I have 99.7% of my audience are male.
Yeah, it is literally like buying an expensive car to impress
Yes.
girls, and only
Only-
dudes
only
come
guys.
to you and say, "Hey, cool car."
Exactly.
But this is exactly what happened the day that
And
you buy
this
your
is
GT3.
why he got a dog, because he understood. Is this why you got a dog?
No, this is not why I got it.
But it would make a cool story.
But you are right, actually. Like, I got a dog because I did actually want a dog, and I want to have something or someone to come home to and just like be happy to be home, you know, just like unconditional love. And I always wanted to have a dog, but I was finding excuses. It's not the right time. I'm traveling too much. I'm doing too much. And yes, it's still the case. I am still busy, and like last week has been like full of adventures, like picking up poo, waking up middle of the night, that kind of stuff, you know. But it's worth it. I'm very happy with the choice that I made, and eventually, if you like keep making those excuses, you will not do the stuff that you really want to do.
There's
But
always a reason not to do
exactly. But going back to your question, she has probably now more followers than I do on Instagram, and girls do follow me more now on Instagram.
So it's
very
another
good tip.
example of a win-win situation. So Misha is basically
Covering emotionally what he wants.
exactly. Misha is basically almost nailing the recipe for having win-win situations, because he's having them almost everywhere.
And I have you.
Exactly. And we have each other, so which is the exact opposite of a win-win situation. But maybe this is why I'm a friend to you, because I also want unconditional love to come home to.
And
Is this what
I don't even know how I feel about it. It's complicated.
And
Relationship
I don't
status
get
is
it.
complicated.
I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it. I'm a bit
I
frustrated.
love it the same. Like
Is it unconditional? Like
it's completely unconditional.
It's
Actually,
like Pancake loves Misha.
almost the same, because I also I think like mentally.
And you also
very class level.
run around him on the couch.
He also
I
bites.
also live here. Like
He also bites sometimes.
don't bother me. I think with that very serious bombshell, I think we're gonna wrap this discussion.
Yes.
I hope it was fun for you.
A lot.
It was fun for me. It was a great pleasure. I loved having you
I
here.
hope
It was
we get
a
to
lot of
repeat
fun.
this
Yeah.
when she's older and your
she's-
golf is working.
Yes.
And you're either gonna tell us that we were wrong and turbo diesel golfs are all
Nah,
Future.
honestly, I think it still sucks. Like
But when is
the
it
guys,
gonna
the guys message me like it's ready. Like fuck, I don't care.
But when is it gonna be here?
Maybe later this week or
Oh, like this.
So it's actually
this
happening.
soon. Okay.
yeah, or maybe next week.
Also, we don't know when you're gonna see this video, so this week that we're talking about might not mean anything to you. But I hope we get to do this
One more time
in the future.
Definitely.
Actually, we should feature his car.
He should feature your car. Do you want a BT Cruiser?
I think I already featured your car. I was driving the M4, the new one, and I overtook you. Yes. And you are in my
It
video.
happened. It happened.
Yes.
Where?
In your on board, in the video that goes out tomorrow, in your lap, he's out there with M4. I
Really?
remember. I read M4.
Yeah. because I overtook it and
Internet collapse happening like all the
and
time.
I saw like, oh, PT Cruiser.
Who is stupid enough?
No, it's like this car is more rare than my M4 now. Like, yeah.
You might be winning. You might be winning.
So, do you enjoy driving a PT Cruiser?
Actually, no. Actually,
And
no.
you have to thank me for him suffering.
Actually, no, but this is the whole
And now
point.
in this video, you know why he deserves it. Huh? Like you BMW guys, golf guys, that he doesn't like you. You racing slow cars.
That's
he
not
doesn't
true. Like, you see, you cannot jump to the assumption that since I don't like the car, I don't like the owner. This is not.
This is what they're gonna think. I don't think that. I know that you don't like anyone.
You are feeding them this. This is the
Of course I
different
do.
discussion.
I'm just trying for them to have like a favorite. So they
Okay,
like
you want to
me.
be the favorite. Okay, I see.
I only did for the.
Anyway, the favorite is there sleeping.
She's absolutely winning. And I think since we put her to sleep, we.
Yeah, we did a
Well-
good job. It took only like hour plus, I guess, but we made it.
Misha, thank you very much.
Thank
you
you very
guys,
much,
It was a
man.
pleasure.
Thank
It was
you.
a pleasure, absolutely.
Looking forward to the next time.